Lately, I have been practicing as an assisted stretch practitioner at a large gym where I was a member for quite a long time before as well. And taking this new position has afforded me this opportunity, this opportunity to, number one, to feel more capable of walking into uh, a crowded place and learning how to wield my energy and how to navigate um, a lot better. When I say better, I mean expanding, right? Expanding my being, understanding when to uh, when to be expanded and understanding when to be quiet. And it's definitely a work in progress, but this has been a very enlightening experience, I will say. And the work itself has been really amazing as well, because getting access to working with this many bodies, interacting with this many people, seeing how many people are open to discussions and practices that are more spiritual versus people who are not. It's been a very good study for me, very effective to learn a lot. Um, and of course, body work is something I absolutely love. I really love to feel better in my own body, to feel more at home and at peace within my own vessel. And therefore, I love to share this feeling with others as well. Something that I have been experiencing and feeling a lot more of lately as I have stepped into this role has been a, a residual um, sensation through the masculine side, okay? Through the armpit, through physically speaking, through the rotator cuff, and just, all through this region right here, okay? Um, this traditionally is the space where we experience and feel matters of showing up in the world. Um, matters that have to do with providing, earning money, uh, expanding into the world, right? Um, Standing firm in our own identity. And with that, of course, is a full bag, right? The full gamut. Uh, High vibration, you know, beautiful resonance to depressed. It's all in existence, right? It's all within the scope of consciousness. And so, upon looking deeper at this, what I am recognizing is that some of this I have also been called into this position to, to heal this in my own being, for one. And then feeling it and observing it within quite a few people as well tells me that this is a very common uh, sensation that people are feeling. And what I believe is that the the ongoing task of earning financially, it seems that this preoccupies the mind a lot. And of course, we have the option to earn from aligned sources. And then there is, of course, also the strategy of simply jetting out into the world and and getting that income however possible. I I feel called to speak on this because it does feel as if this is something that many people are dealing with. We've had this like massive percentage of the population, especially here in America, who do not want to do work that does not feel aligned anymore. And I relate. For quite a few years, I refused to do ongoing work that was not my own creation in its entirety, meaning me starting my own business. At the most, I would take a gig here and there. And of course, many of you guys know my experience in production and acting and, done some labor, this and that, whatever, right? So I definitely get it. Now, what I'm hearing is that we, when I say I'm hearing, I'm not speaking about from a human source, okay? Just intuitively from the universe. Um, I'm understanding that we are in the middle of a paradigm shift that will largely adjust how many of us um, will largely a paradigm shift that will largely adjust many of our requirements of how much money we need in order to survive. But what I do feel called to share with this is that it's not always greener on that side either, because due to how intelligent so many of our brothers and sisters are, and all of us are intelligent, but many of us have decided to be the ones who amass wealth and continue to work so that we may possess more purchasing power and leverage ultimately. And what tends to happen, what I have also walked, I have done this many times, even in this very moment. I am living in a situation where I do not have a financial obligation in order to live where I am living. Living in this trailer, the air conditioning, the fridge use, the water use, etc. I am not currently paying a financial contribution for any of that. What I am doing is I am working a bit. I am, in essence, trading or bartering uh, in order to receive my room and not board, but, having a place to stay, utilities, water, electricity, air conditioning, so on. And access to fresh food if I choose to eat it out in the garden. Beautiful, fresh, organic food. Now, the conflict that I am currently navigating with this, that I believe many people are going to be navigating very soon. This is not my first time doing this. I also used to live not too long ago somewhere else where my barter for room and actually some food here and there too was to do some marketing work for the person whose name was on the lease, to do some marketing work and help with a business that they were launching. And let me tell you, if you are the type of person who uh, desires to create your own creations into the world, um, it's not it's not as green on that side as what you might think. And of course, you may find a different situation with it. You may also end up uh, traversing and defeating this internal conflict faster than I've been able to figure it out. Entirely possible. So my experience will not necessarily be your experience, but my experience is that it's too much leverage for the other person, especially because many of us who find ourselves in this position are really big-hearted people, and we generally, historically, have placed more value on people giving to us financially than what we are contributing back in the form of our labor. Um, this is most likely due to a money wound, right? A internal compass pointing towards uh, a need. I don't use that word hardly ever, but essentially we are being called to deal with our relationship with money so that we are more confident to take a little bit more risk again, so that we are able to amass a little bit of leverage for our own freedom. So my goal with sharing this experience is that you would know that this utopian idea that so many of us, free spirits believe that would be so great for us, just consider the possibility that if you are someone who has a money wound still potentially, who historically at times does really we overextend ourselves when someone helps us out financially. Um, just consider all that, um, and ensure that if you are entering into an agreement like this, ensure that the agreements are done ahead of time and that you think really diligently about how much work you are committing to. I do feel very fortunate um, because the person who owns this property, I mean, even though I do feel that I am still doing more than, you see, it's it's not the simplest of thought trains. You know what I mean? There's that internal conflict right there. At times it works out in my favor, and at times it seems to not, right? So it all averages out. But in the way of the mindset, I think that's probably the most relevant lesson that I am trying to push, across to you is that in order to operate in our highest capacity, we we do much better when we feel that we're being compensated fairly, right? Where we feel that it's an equal give and take in every relationship. That's just the just kind of the way that, consciousness wants, right? Like we want to feel as though uh, everything is equal, right? So towards that end, just be cautious if you're going to engage in living in a commune, or you know bartering for your space to stay. Yeah.